Making headlines this hour, the Maldives lowers its national flag to half-mast for one day in official mourning following the death of former Qatari Emir Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani. According to statistics from the Ministry of Finance and Public Enterprises, so far this year, $81.06 million has been dispersed to local councils in block grants. Minister of Economic Development, Transport and Trade Mohammad Saeed says that recent discussions with India have laid a strong foundation for further strengthening economic relations between the two countries.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PSM News in English with me, Hafiz Abdul Sattar. Now the news in detail. The Maldives lowers its national flag to half-mast for one day in official mourning following the death of a former Qatari Emir, Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani. According to the President's office, the decision was taken in recognition of the long-standing friendship between the Maldives and Qatar. It also honors the close relationship Sheikh Hamad maintained with the Maldives during his reign, as well as his generous contributions and continued support for the country's development and progress. The national flag is being flown at half-mast from 12 p.m. on Monday until 12 p.m. on Tuesday, issued by President Dr. Mohamed Muiz. Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani was laid to rest with full state honors on 12 July. President Dr. Muiz traveled to Qatar on Monday to attend the official mourning ceremonies held following the former Emir's passing. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz attends the 5th session of the High Achievers Award 2025 as the guest of honor, presiding over an evening ceremony held at the Center for Higher Secondary Education in Hulmale.
The event celebrated students achieving the highest national results across secondary and higher secondary examinations. Accolades included the High Achievement Award and the Outstanding Pearson Learner Award, alongside the Outstanding Cambridge Learner Award and the High Achiever Scholarship. Dr. Ismail Shafiu, the Minister of Education, Higher Education and Skills Development, noted that educational reforms anticipate increased science and technology interest within 3 years. Currently, 28,000 students engage in higher education via free degree and scholarship programs, yet only 11% pursue science and technology. Minister Shafiu attributed this to a previous policy allowing the abandonment of mathematics, a trend the administration reversed by making the subject compulsory. The administration fundamentally prioritizes students' character development under the PINGA program, which has conducted 39,400 activities this year. Since President Muizu assumed office, the Grade 10 progression rate to higher secondary education has climbed from 34 to 48%, with projections reaching 65% by 2028. Minister Shafiu urged graduates to evaluate job market opportunities before selecting disciplines, stressing that students should maintain a commitment to serving the nation and its citizens after completing their publicly funded studies.
Minister of Economic Development, Transport and Trade Mohammad Saeed says that recent discussions with India have laid a strong foundation for further strengthening economic relations between the two countries.
The minister made the remarks in an interview with India's WION news agency during his official visit to India. Speaking about the visit, which was made at the invitation of India's Minister of Commerce and Industry, Piyush Goyal, Saeed described the trip as a success. He said the current momentum in bilateral relations stem from President Dr. Mohamed Muiz's visit to India and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's subsequent visit to the Maldives. Saeed noted that the visit advanced discussions on supporting the President's digital economy agenda, enhancing tourism and air connectivity, and expanding trade links between the two countries. He also discussed the proposed Free Trade Agreement (FTA) and the bilateral investment treaty currently under negotiation. According to the minister, business forums held in New Delhi, Mumbai, and Bengaluru during President Moise's visit have significantly strengthened ties between businesses and industries in both countries. The minister said an FTA would provide Maldivian businesses with preferential access to one of the world's largest and fastest growing markets. He added that new opportunities would arise in fisheries, marine industries, digital services, and other emerging sectors. Small and medium-sized enterprises would also gain access to new markets and regional value chains. Saeed stated that the agreement would streamline customs procedures, strengthen regulatory cooperation, and remove barriers to trade, thereby lowering business costs, improving supply chains, and benefiting both businesses and consumers. He further noted that the bilateral investment treaty would create a clearer and more predictable framework for investors, boosting confidence and encouraging Indian investment in sectors such as tourism, logistics, healthcare, education, renewable energy, and the digital economy. According to the minister, such investments would create jobs, facilitate technology transfers, enhance skills and support innovation, contributing to the government's broader goal of building a resilient and future-ready economy. Saeed emphasized that the agreements would benefit India as well, supporting the development of a more competitive global economic partnership and further strengthening the close ties between the Maldives and India.
According to statistics from the Ministry of Finance and Public Enterprises, so far this year, $81.06 million has been disbursed to local councils in block grants,
marking a 16.8% increase from the $69.39 million allocated during the corresponding time frame last year. Details were published in the latest weekly fiscal development report. The current fiscal year features the largest budgeted block grant for local council in national history, with allocation set at $160.18 million. By comparison, $136.19 million was initially budgeted in 2023, though final expenditures exceeded that figure by $518,806.74 and $142.67 million was disbursed to councils the year prior. City councils secure the most substantial share of this institutional funding, with the Malé City Council receiving the largest individual budget allocation of any local government body. Funding has been distributed as block grants under a structured fiscal formula based on state revenue since 2020. Major revisions to the financial assistance system are forthcoming, the administration recently announced. The proportional share of grants provided to island and city councils will increase following the abolition of atoll councils. Future funding will be distributed based on the physical land area of an island, shifting away from a policy that relied solely on population size. These adjustments are intended to expand overall financial capacity and reinforce local development projects the administration maintains.
According to Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Abdullah Muttalib, the road on the Hitadu Causeway in Lam Atoll is expected to be completed and open for public use by the middle of 2028.
Speaking in Parliament, Marwar parliamentarian Ahmad Shakir asked when physical construction on the Hitadu Causeway project had begun and when it was expected to be completed. In response, the minister outlined the project's timeline in detail. The minister explained that although the project contract was signed and awarded on the 22nd January 2023, the actual construction work only commenced under the current administration. While reports indicated that mobilization took place on 2nd September 2023, he said that the survey, borehole investigations, and other related works initiated at the time had not progressed satisfactorily. He added that the geotechnical investigations and the design revisions required for the project were completed under the current government. Physical construction began on the 20th October 2025, and the project was launched with a completion period of 500 days. The $5.24 million project includes a 390-meter revetment, two bridges each measuring 557.5 meters in length, and a 714-meter roadway. The minister also noted that casting of the L blocks required for the bridge construction is currently underway. The minister acknowledged that the project had encountered several challenges during implementation. He said that towards the end of the previous administration's term, contracts of numerous projects had been signed in a short period, creating financial constraints. As a result, the government has had to establish a realistic implementation schedule to ensure all projects can be completed. He added that priority is being given to completing projects in the most effective manner possible within the state's available financial resources.
President of the Elections Commission of the Maldives, ECM Mohammed Shakil, says holding elections within a short period of one another remains an issue that requires a long-term solution. In an interview with PSM News, Shakil said that considering both the financial cost and the amount of work involved, conducting elections close together places a significant administrative burden on the electoral system. He added that it is important for lawmakers to give careful consideration to the matter. Shakil explained that the Elections Commission, as an executive institution, is obliged to fully comply with the laws enacted by Parliament when conducting elections. He also noted that finding a solution to the issue of holding elections close together would reduce election-related expenditure, allowing those funds to be redirected towards other areas that would benefit the public. He further stated that if Parliament amends the Constitution and the relevant laws, elections could be held together. However, he noted that the public has previously decided against combining the presidential and parliamentary elections. In a public vote on the proposal, 148,859 people voted against holding the two elections together. According to financial statistics from the Maldives Inland Revenue Authority, MIRA, the government collected $77.8 million in green tax revenue during the first half of this year.
According to MIRA's June revenue report, the government received $77.8 million in green tax revenue during the first 6 months of the year. During the corresponding period last year, green tax collections amounted to $71.3 million, representing an 8.2% increase. Revenue collected in US dollars also rose during the first 6 months of the year. Green tax receipts total $79 million during the period, compared with $73 million during the same period last year. The Maldives introduced the green tax in October 2016 to raise funds for environmental protection initiatives across the country. The tax is levied on tourists staying at resorts, hotels and guest houses, as well as those arriving on tourist vessels. The green tax is charged at $12 per person per night for guests staying at resorts, tourist vessels and hotels, and $6 per person per night for guests staying at guest houses. Children under the age of 2 are exempt from the tax. Revenue generated through the green tax is used by the government to fund environmental projects across the Maldives. These include water and sewage systems, coastal protection works, clean environmental projects, and the development of water supply infrastructure.
Fuel Supplies Maldives FSM begins implementing the installation of automatic tank gouging ATG systems on its fuel barges as part of efforts to further strengthen its marine fuel supply services.
According to FSM, this is the first time such a system has been installed on the company's fuel transport vessels. Under the pilot project, installation work is currently underway on the Hunike barge, which is part of the company's fleet. FSM said the ATG system is being introduced to enable continuous, accurate and reliable monitoring of fuel levels in storage tanks without interruption. The company added that the system will improve the safety and efficiency of its operations while providing customers with a more reliable and higher quality fuel supply service. FSM described the project as an important step in modernizing its services by leveraging technology to make operations faster, more efficient and more convenient. The company also said the system is expected to provide a significant solution to existing challenges associated with fuel discharge operations from barges and monitoring fuel inventories in storage tanks.
Oil prices jumps as Iran expanded strikes on Gulf states following attacks by the United States, threatening energy shipments over the Strait of Hormuz.
Brent crude futures climbed 2.34 US dollars or 3.08% to 78 US dollars, while US West Texas Intermediate crude rose 2.21 US dollars or 3.09% to 73.62 US dollars a barrel. Over the weekend, Tehran extended strikes on Qatar and the United Arab Emirates, while the US launched further strikes on Iran, the latest in a cycle of attacks and counterattacks over shipping through the strait.
The gas will go down. As soon as the war's over, it'll drop like a rock. There's so much of it. It's all over the place, sitting all over the oceans of the world. And it'll go down. But what won't happen is if Iran had a nuclear weapon and used it, then the whole world is a different place.
What about
You're
the
not going to have to
pictures?
pay
Impact
a little
on
bit more for
Republicans?
gasoline. The gasoline, the oil will go down rapidly as soon as the war is over.
US President Donald Trump said the Strait of Hormuz is open to commercial traffic, although Iran declared earlier that it closed the strait after a vessel traveled on an unapproved route and was struck.
Qatar holds a funeral in Doha for former Emir Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, who died at the age of 74.
Qatar's top government body, the Amiri Diwan, announced that Sheikh Hamad had died on Sunday morning. It did not mention the cause of his death. Current Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani joined prayers and helped carry his father's body wrapped in cloth in the mosque. Sheikh Hamad presided over one of the most consequential periods in the country's history, driving a rapid transformation of the tiny desert state that reshaped its economy, global profile, and political ambition. He ruled Qatar from 1995 to 2013, when he abdicated to his son, Sheikh Tamim, the current leader of the gas-rich Gulf country. A forceful, independent-minded personality, he explained in a speech marking his abdication that he wanted a new generation with their innovative ideas and active energies to take over. Sheikh Hamad had elevated Qatar's global profile through the development of the Al Jazeera television network, as well as its successful bid to host the 2022 Soccer World Cup tournament. The US allied state is small, with just over 2.5 million people, but it is the world's largest exporter of liquefied natural gas, a global investment powerhouse, and heavy hitter in Middle East diplomacy and international media. Sheikh Hamad handed power to his son, the then Crown Prince, in June 2013 in a rare abdication by a hereditary Gulf Arab ruler to try to ensure a smooth succession.
At least 51 people died in southeastern Bangladesh after days of torrential monsoon rain, intensified by a depression in the Bay of Bengal, worsening flooding across the region.
According to the country's disaster management ministry, more than 1 million people remained stranded by Sunday as heavy rains continued. In the hill district of Bandarban, road links with the rest of the country were severely disrupted as highways were submerged and landslides blocked key routes. Swollen rivers inundated surrounding areas, forcing many villagers from their homes. Many of the fatalities were caused by landslides in the hilly district, while others were linked to flash floods rushing down from higher ground. As floodwaters began to recede slightly on Sunday afternoon, residents rushed to assess the damage, finding homes destroyed and belongings either swept away or ruined. Volunteers worked around the clock to assist affected communities, distributing hot meals and emergency supplies to stranded residents. However, local people said many remote areas in the hill district had yet to receive adequate aid.
Jannik Sinner retains his Wimbledon title by beating Alexander Zverev 6-7, 7-6, 6-3, 6-4 in the final to claim his fifth Grand Slam crown and extend his dominance over the German to 10 straight victories. The win placed Sinner in rare company as the 10th man in the professional era to successfully defend the title, strengthening his credentials as one of the dominant players of his generation while he chases down big rival Carlos Alcaraz 7 majors. Both finalists slugged it out for 12 games in a high-octane first set on a warm and windy afternoon before Zverev moved up a gear and hit a powerful forehand winner to clinch a crippling tiebreak, yelling and crouching down in celebration. The clean ball striking continued, but Zverev began to show signs of frustration late in the second set, where a much more animated Sinner gained the upper hand in the tie-break and went on to level the contest at 1 set apiece. Zverev brought up his first break point midway through the third set after more than 2.5 hours, but slipped and fell to the ground after being wrong-footed by the Sinner drop shot. With Zverev screaming out in agony, the center court crowd gasped when he rolled out his back, clutching his right knee. The second seed dusted himself off and carried on, but was left seething when Sinner pounced in the next game to break for a 5-3 lead, slamming his racket to the floor, and soon found himself trailing the Italian 2-1 after nearly 3 hours of battle.
There's no better place, honestly, to play tennis. Standing here, you can feel the nerves in the Sunday morning when you wake up. You know that this is, a very, very special day, and you never know how many times you can come back on Sunday. So I never take things for granted. Playing in front of very, very special people throughout the whole couple of weeks, it has been amazing, and and thanks for the support. You are always amazing to me, and you gave me the most special feeling a tennis player can ever feel like, so thank you so much.
Sinner broke again for a 4-3 advantage in the fourth set as Zverev's level briefly dipped, and the 24-year-old held firm in the entertaining spell to complete the victory and then collapsed to the threadbare turf in celebration. 50 years ago, farmers in Italy's Emilia-Romagna region used to open the windows in their barns at night during the summer to keep their cattle cool. Today, as heat waves send temperatures soaring to record highs, those windows stay open around the clock to protect the cows and ultimately their milk, the foundation of the area's centuries-old Parmigiano-Reggiano cheese industry. Nicola Bertinelli, president of the Parmigiano-Reggiano Consortium, who also runs the dairy farm that his family founded in 1895 on the outskirts of Parma, said extreme heat impacts milk's quality and quantity. With temperatures topping 40 degrees Celsius, cows spend more time lying down, eat less and produce up to 10% less milk, one of Parmigiano's only 3 ingredients alongside salt and rennet. Production of authentic Parmigiano-Reggiano is only allowed in 5 provinces, mostly in the Emilia-Romagna region, and cows must be fed exclusively with grass and hay grown there. He and others have also installed fans and water mist systems, but most extra cooling measures have sent their energy cost soaring. Those raising bills are also hitting managers of the warehouses where cheese wheels are stored during the aging process for at least 12 months, sometimes 3 years or even longer. More than 500,000 wheels of Parmigiano-Reggiano, together worth more than 300 million euros, are stored in the 2 warehouses operated by MGT in the provinces of Reggio Emilia and Modena. The region's climate-controlled warehouses have become institutions collectively known as the Bank of Parmigiano. Behind their walls, technology and tradition go hand in hand. Each wheel of Parmigiano-Reggiano undergoes strict quality inspections, including X-ray scans to rule out defects. The cheese is checked weekly by experts who tap each wheel with small hammers, listen for signs of flaws that may have developed during the aging process. Paolo Ganzoli, International Sales Director at Food Group Gran Terre, which posted consolidated revenue of 1.87 billion euros in 2025, echoed Ravaniti's concerns about raising bills. There is a lot at stake. The Parmigiano-Reggiano industry generates an estimate of 4.5 billion euros in revenue a year, employing thousands and powering the local economy. In 2025, exports of the cheese accounted for more than 50% of Parmigiano-Reggiano's global sales, with the United States as its latest foreign market. And that's all we have for this hour. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a very pleasant time ahead.